Hey you guys, hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. We're going to be talking about Alex Murdaugh. So we have kind of been following the trial a little bit here on this channel. I actually tried to live stream it, but there's just so many other bigger creators that are streaming the channel, lawyers, law and crime networks, that it really did not make sense for me to live stream the trial on my channel when you guys could watch it and hear lawyers explain what things meant. But still, I've been trying really hard to keep up with this trial because it is something that I'm super interested in. So, you guys, as you come in, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me because I did have to switch my software back over to the Elle Bee channel. And sometimes through switching things, it can mess with the settings. So, if you guys see me loud and clear, just put in the chat, we see you loud and clear. Anyways, you guys, so today, the jurors in the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial visited Alex Murdaugh's Moselle family estate. Now, obviously, this estate has been talked about a lot due to the fact that this is where Maggie and Paul was killed. So we're going to go over what they saw because after they were allowed there, after the jurors were allowed there, they actually let media outlets go in. So several media outlets went in and they recorded what it looks like. And you guys, it's literally like frozen in time. I mean, Maggie's bike is still in the front. A potted plant that Buster gave, probably his mom for maybe Mother's Day. I know my children are always bringing me things for like Mother's Day and stuff that they make at school. So things like that. Those things are still there. So we're going to look at some of the pictures, some of the videos, and we're going to go over the situation. Actually, I'm going to bring this back over here because I cannot see. Bear with me. All right. All right, so the Daily Mail has a really good article up about it. So we're kind of going off what the Daily Mail is showing us. Someone from the Daily Mail, more than likely, was at the property. I know I saw a few reporters posting on Twitter that were there. And what's so crazy is there were people that was like kind of mad at them that they were there. There was people that was like, that's private property. You shouldn't be there. And it's like, hello. They're actually being allowed to go. They were only asked to hold off until the juror members can go and like leave and come back. I mean, go there and then leave because one thing is they did not want the members of the jury to be seen, photos taken of them, or anything like that because their identities is supposed to be anonymous. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. Okay. So, what Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial jury saw during the walkthrough at the family's frozen in time hunting lodge. Bullet hole riddle windows, forgotten Buster's forgotten plant sits on the porch, and abandoned bicycles lie in the front of the front line. So, jurors in the Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial today visited the family's haunted lodge, which has remained frozen in time with bullet hole riddled windows and forgotten family possessions. Eerie footage shows the kennels where Murdaugh's wife Maggie and son Paul were shot dead on the hunting estate in Moselle on the night of June 7th, 2021. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, you guys. I saw something saying, make me a mod. I'm like, who does he think he is? Telling me to make... Oh, it's my husband. Okay, that makes sense. All right, Sean, you are now a moderator. Yes, that's what some people are saying, that Maggie was actually running to Paul and not away, which would make sense. I mean, if I saw my child shot, I would go to run to him. I wouldn't run away. I don't know. Mother instincts would not be for me to run away. I would want to go check on my child, you know? So let's continue. All right. The video of a potted plant painted with the name of Buster and a snowman standing on a table between two rocking chairs on the porch. You can still see those there. An abandoned bicycle, which Maggie would ride from the main house to visit her beloved dogs at the kennels, was still parked on the front lawn. We're going to watch that video, but here is a picture of the bike. Let me make myself a little bit smaller. The house is obviously grown up, but that was the bike that Maggie would ride to and from the kennels, still sitting in the front yard. It says under this picture, it says a bike outside the front of the property, which jurors visited Wednesday morning. The court has heard Maggie would often ride a bicycle down to the kennels, while Paul would drive the 400 yards. There is the potted plant. It so looks like something that my kids have made me at school. So I do have to wonder if this was something that they have had for a while. Okay, so I think there were two dogs that she would keep up at the house with her as well, because they talked about two dogs that she would also bring to Edisto, their beach house. So I think they had their hunting dogs all in the kennels, and then maybe at times the other dogs were there. I don't know. But they absolutely did say she would bring these dogs with her everywhere. And if she went to stay at the beach house, which she did a lot, that she would bring her dogs with her. So I am wondering if the family dogs were not really kept at the kennels. She kept them at the house when Alec wasn't at the house. Grady and Bubba, yes. Okay, so there is a potted plant with a snowman and the name of Buster Murdoch, and the name of Buster, which is Alec's sole surviving son, was seen on the porch during the jury's visit Wednesday. It is really eerie to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's still family possessions there. There is the window. So it says jurors this morning visited the estate after the defense requested that they get a better understanding of the crime scene. Holes were seen in the glass of the feed room where Paul was blasted twice with a gunshot. Cherry Girl in the chat says, was there ever proof that Maggie was talking to a lawyer about the divorce? Not to my knowledge. There's rumors about that, but I have no knowledge if any attorney has come out to say that, and I don't know if an attorney could come out to say that. It seems like it would be attorney-client privilege, which in this case maybe he could, considering this would give motive. He would, but I don't. We've not seen that come out at the trial. Did the Murdochs sell this property? No. So right now, so the bank was saying they still owed on the property. However, the bank in question, and this is just from what I recall of what I read, the bank in question, the CEO of the bank was also involved in like Alex's money schemes, but they were saying that Alex still owed on the property. Now, this property was in Maggie's name. When she passed away, it went to Buster. They are trying to get everything situated, but if they can sell the property, the money will go to Madison Beach's family. Nat B from Canada says it's in escrow right now. So yeah, seems like I heard that there was a possibility, but there was a lot of things, a lot of red tape, considering the bank said, oh, it's not paid off, but that bank was also the bank that is being questioned a lot. The CEO of the bank was fired. So here is the feed room where Paul was shot with buckshot from a 12 gauge shotgun. Okay, Lori says the property has been sold. So if it has been sold or if it is in escrow, then from my understanding, the proceeds will go to Madison Beach. I do remember reading that. Now, the last that I read on the property, it hadn't been sold. They were still trying to figure out what was going to happen with it. So that's the room that Paul was in when he was killed. And here is, so this area right here is where Maggie's body was found. As you guys can see, that little doghouse right there, little wooden one. Maggie's body was found to the right of that doghouse. So it says Maggie's body was found a few yards to the right of the doghouse, while Paul was in the doorway of the feed room at the kennels on the far right. So the state says that Alec first shot Paul twice with a shotgun in the feed room of the kennels before turning to shoot Maggie with a .300 blackout rifle, who was yards away. Jurors have heard gruesome evidence of how Paul's brains was blown out the back of his head by a close-range blast of steel buckshot from a 12-gauge shotgun. Maggie was shot at least 4 times with bullet wounds to her thigh, her wrist, her torso, and her head. The final shot was fired into the back of her head as she laid face down on the ground when she was already dead. You guys remind me that I have something to say about if I believe that he did it. I want to give my 2 cents about this in a little bit. So during his testimony, Alec floated his own theory of who committed the murders, saying he believed that vigilantes killed his wife and son in revenge for Paul's drunken boat accident, which killed the 19-year-old girl, Mallory Beach. He said Paul had been attacked and threatened after the wreck in which Mallory Beach was killed in February 2019. After sitting through more than a month of testimony, jurors were escorted by cops to see the exact location where Alec's wife Maggie and son Paul were shot. The judge allowed 3 journalists, a reporter, a photographer, a videographer to attend the scene only after the jurors had left. The 12 jurors and the 2 alternates were loaded into 3 transport vans with blacked out windows and were guarded by a convoy of cops as they made the half-hour trip from the Carlton County Courthouse to Moselle. There's another window. That's actually the same window, I think. Yeah. A hole through one of the window panes at the feed room of the kennel where Paul died. Yeah. All right, now here is the front porch of the house. So it says Maggie's body was found a few yards to the right of the wooden doghouse in front of the lean-to. What's a lean-to? Paul's body was discovered in the doorway of the feed room at the kennels, which is behind the doghouse in this photo. Another photo, more of the property. Said the jury was seen walking the narrow path between the kennels where Paul was shot with the shotgun and the lean-to where Maggie was killed with the rifle. Press were only allowed on the scene after the members of the jury had left. So in this photo, Paul's body would be over here and Maggie's body would be up and to the right a little bit. Now, here they are leaving the property. It says law enforcement cars and vans to transport the jury were seen on the driveway at the entrance to the kennels on Wednesday morning. And this car is carrying Alec Murdaugh's defense, from my understanding. Yes. Alec Murdaugh's defense attorney would leave the Murdaugh property following the jury visit this morning. The hangar and the dog kennels at the Murdaugh Moselle property on Wednesday, and a photo taken after the jury visited the crime scene this morning. The hose at the kennels, which jurors have heard much about in evidence, first responders said the scene was wet and that the bodies of the victims were saturated with water as well as blood, despite the fact that it had not rained yet that night. Judge Clifton Newman rode in a pickup truck driven by Carlton County Sheriff's Office Captain Jason Chapman. Chapman testified on the first day of the trial as one of the first cops on the scene the night that Maggie and Paul were killed. The outing came after Alec Murdaugh's defense attorneys told the judge the visit would allow the jurors to see how small the feed room is, which was where Paul was killed, and understand its location in relation to Maggie's body. The visit lasted about an hour and 15 minutes, and the jurors then returned to the court to hear the prosecution's closing arguments. Crime scene visits by jurors are relatively rare, but have occurred in a number of other high-profile prosecutions, including the 1995 murder trial of O.J. Simpson. I remember this. I literally remember this situation. Legal experts warned the move was a big risk. On the one hand, it could garner sympathy for the alleged killer by showing jurors where his family lived, but they may also see it that it was possible for him to have committed the murders himself. Lori Murray, a South Carolina criminal defense attorney, told the Daily Mail the defense wants the jury to be able to use all their senses to take in the crime scene. It's one thing to have pictures and graphs, but quite another to be there in person. At the crime scene, the jurors can see the house, the expanse of the land, and the kennels. They can judge just how close these two murders occurred and the distance from the house, and perhaps instead of seeing the murders, they'll hear Alex and John Marvin's words and see where the family lived. Or they'll see how clearly it was possible for one person, Alec, to commit these murders, a big risk for the defense. The jury members were seen walking down the narrow path between the kennels where Paul was killed and the lean-to where Maggie was killed with the rifle. Here's another bullet hole. The property, again, I mean, it was a nice property. Was it worth $3 million? I don't know. This is the side of the house where the gun room is. So if you walk in that door, that takes you into the gun room. Hey, Megan. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Navy wife here. Love that. Love that. Along Moselle Road, the housekeeper's house is seen at the Murdaugh Moselle property. So I guess that house with the red roof was the housekeeper's house. I don't know if that was Gloria's house once upon a time or Bee's house. I know they asked Bee to live in the property after the murders happened, but I don't know if she lived in that house or the actual main house. So several vehicles leave the Murdaugh Moselle property. That's, I guess, when they were leaving. That is inside the feed room now, what it looks like today. Clearly cleaned out. The dog kennels and the hangar. It says one juror was spotted standing inside the feed room looking up at the doorway, which has been the subject of gruesome testimony. Paul's brains and blood were splattered up on the doorway after his head was blown off by the buckshot round. Judge Newman was with them, standing still, looking down. He was in street clothes. Some of the deputies on watch while the jurors toured were some of the key witnesses in the case, including Detective Laura Rutland. So some of the deputies that went to kind of observe this or watch the jurors were also some of the detectives that actually were witnesses in the case. Detective Laura Rutland, who sat in on Murdoch's first interview with South Carolina Law Enforcement Division SLED agent David Owen in the early morning hours on June 8, 2021. They were parked that night in Owen's SUV, where Murdoch sobbed as he recounted finding his wife riddled with bullets and his son with his brains blasted out of his skull. My goodness, the Daily Mail, can you get any more like, jeez. The jury spent the bulk of their time at the kennels and the shed where Maggie and Paul were killed. Towards the end of the visit, they were taken to the main house for a view of the exterior. They were not allowed inside. Judge Newman warned the jury they were not to confer back and forth with each other or ask any questions at the scene. He told them that if they had any questions, that they could ask him. Am I missing something? Okay. Defense attorney Dick Harpootlian requested that law enforcement secure the property beforehand because literally dozens of trespassers had been mobbing the grounds to take selfies. He told the judge that the jury needed to be protected from the carnival atmosphere of trial enthusiasts who had been at the estate throughout the trial. I had someone send me pictures the other day of the property. Well, outside the property. They didn't go in the property, but that window is also a window to the feed room. So this picture would be a picture of where Maggie's body was. Lulu says, Elle, do you know if he ever had a polygraph test? I don't know. I don't know. I know they're not admissible in court, but I don't recall hearing that he did. So this is a processing shed that is located behind the kennels. That is behind the kennels. This is inside the kennels, and one of the kennels still had a stuffed chicken inside of it. So here is the side of the dog kennels and the hanger. A quail pen. The quail pen was also struck by a bullet that night. Here's the dog cages at the kennels. Yes, he did Gloria Satterfield really wrong. And then, her boys. Well, they say Paul was very close with Gloria, that she was like a second mom to him, that she basically raised him. So I'm wondering if maybe an accident really happened concerning Gloria. She tripped, fell, but after falling, maybe Alec come up with this plan like, hey, if she passes, I could have her boys sue my insurance and then I could get all the money. You know, if maybe something like that popped up in his head. Oh, y'all think either Paul or Maggie did it? Dang, y'all. They say Maggie was a nice lady. I don't know. There's the dog kennels. The entrance to the house. This is a view of Moselle from the entrance by the kennels. I think it was planned. At this point, it's a clue game. I know. This is the caretaker's home, which, like I said, I don't know if Florien lived in this home. I don't know if this is where Bee lived once she lived on the property for a short time. I'm not sure, but this is the caretaker home on the property. Once again, another shot out by the dog kennels and where Maggie was found. So cops descended on the estate in anticipation for the visit, and the roads around Moselle were taped off. Lead state prosecutor Creighton Waters objected to the jury outing, arguing the estate looked different now and said a visit might require additional testimony from the state. Nearly 3 decades earlier, jurors in the O.J. Simpson trial toured the scene where prosecutors alleged that he killed his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. He does. Yeah, he does. That's kind of weird. Yeah. Jurors saw the spot where Nicole Brown Simpson and Goldman's bloodied bodies were found in the walkway leading up to her Brentwood condominium. Prosecutor Marsha Clark said at the time that taking jurors to see the narrow, confined walkway would show the reason why one person could accomplish the murders and how the victims were cornered. Oh, you guys can't see that. Sorry. OJ was acquitted of the killings but later found liable for the deaths in a civil suit. And we're going to go back and we're going to watch this video. And then I got something I want to say about it. I'm so conflicted with this because I'm like, there's no way he didn't do this, right? Like, how could he not have done this, right? But I'm like, what was the motive? Like, what is the motive here? And my thing is like, I don't think he would have the balls to do this ever.
USA. Free.
Because they say that he couldn't even put, a dog down. Like when one of the dogs was hurt. That he couldn't put the dog down, that someone else had to do it. So I'm like, if he wouldn't be able to put a dog down, how could he blow his son's brains out? So, okay, all right, well, he paid someone to do it. He hired a hitman. But he is a prosecutor. He is an attorney. Like, if he hired someone to kill his family, don't you think he would have, like, the most solid alibi? Like, he would have been out of town. Like, most people that hire someone to kill someone, they are out of town. They're in another state. They have, like, the best alibi ever. I mean, his alibi was like, I was with my mom who had Alzheimer's. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he hired someone to do this, he planned it terribly because he did not even give himself a good alibi. And I just don't think he could have did it himself. I just don't. Living My Best Life said they're full of it. He could put the dog down. Now, maybe that's the disconnect here. Maybe he could, and maybe he would be capable. They're greedy better than everyone ran in multiple counties there. Maggie was the only sweetheart. Yeah, he killed things like okay, I dated this guy one time who he hunted and he could kill deer, but one time he had a puppy that broke its leg. And listen, where I come from, people do put animals down. I don't do it, but he was going to put his puppy down. I think it was his brother's puppy. And it broke its leg and was suffering. So he was going to, and he couldn't. He couldn't do it. He brought the puppy back and was like, I can't do it. But he hunted. So I just think maybe I don't know, because I mean, I think there's people out there that can hunt, but not like kill something for no reason that's innocent. Yeah, I think killing animals for food is much different than putting down an animal, a dog or a pet. Right. Yeah, I think there will be a hung jury as well. I just don't think the prosecution proved their case well enough. Like beyond a reasonable doubt, is there anybody in here that if you were on the jury could say, I have been convinced beyond a reasonable doubt? I don't know if Alec went. Buster was out of town. He was with Brooklyn, I believe. So if you would vote guilty in the chat, say guilty. If you would vote not guilty, say not guilty. If you can't decide, put can't decide. Because I want to see what you got, where you guys are at with this. Because I can't decide. I cannot say it's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt for me. I still have questions, is what I'm saying. Well, obviously, I'm like, sure he did it. He had to have. There's just such a part of me that was like, but they didn't prove it.
Guess that guy stays now. He's leaving too.
No, like I said, I clearly think he's guilty. Like I'm like, who, why, who else? I don't know. But I'm like, I just, there's still that question of like possibly being two perpetrators. Like, I don't know. And I'm like, why would he even be anywhere around if he hired someone? And if he did it himself, why would he do it like Why kill Paul? Like, I don't know. Just so many questions that I don't have answers to that I just can't decide. I would be, can't decide. The state did not do their job. Yeah, Lisa said he's a liar, not a murderer. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Is a lot of times, you know, don't get me wrong, I think he's guilty. I just don't think it's been proven, and I also have questions. But a lot of times, when you have someone that has been called in a lot of lies, it's like, but they lied, but they lied, but they lied. And it's like, but liars doesn't make you a murderer. Cheaters doesn't make you a murderer. You know what I'm saying? Because he thought the civil suit would go away. It's all about the money. What would happen? Okay, what would happen? So here's the thing: the boating incident, Paul was being sued, Alec was being sued, Maggie was being sued, Buster was being sued. They were all being sued. So say Maggie and Paul, he decides, well, I'm going to kill them because we're being sued, and that'll help some of it. Well, him and Buster would still be being sued. So I'm just like, to me, I'm like, I need it to make sense, and I can't get everything. I can't fit the puzzles in their place. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the armpit doctor, and then you had the other corner that came in was like, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't tell you anything. He's an admitted addict, liar, thief, etc., but not of killing Paul and Maggie. Eddie says, burn him. Canadian Wolverine says, remember, Paul was going to buy a house with Will Loving and going to talk to his parents that night about it. Did Alec blow a gasket after being charged with embezzlement that morning? Yeah, Lula says he owned the boat. His dead son doesn't stop the lawsuit. He's an attorney. He knows it. See, because that's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, but how would it really affect the lawsuit? Because he, first off, he and Buster would still be being sued, and then Maggie and Paul's estates would be sued. Even if you die, someone can still sue your estate. So I just don't, I can't get it to make sense. Thank you, Megan. Thank you so much. There's too many different scenarios of what it could be. In that case, jury has to go in not guilty. Justice would rather have free guilt than innocent jailed. Maggie would have placed a second loan on her house so Paul could buy that house. And Alec was sure as heck not going to tell Maggie about the money he embezzled, or rather kill him. But if my son came to me and say I'm in like the worst financial situation, I just got caught stealing money, and my son came to me saying, hey, I'm going to buy a house, I'd be like, listen, we can't right now. You buy it yourself. Like, would that be enough for him to like flip out and kill them because his son wants to buy a house? See, I can go with that, Janie. I think he killed Maggie because she found out all about his financial scheming. And while he was doing it, Paul walked up. So he had to kill him too because he's seen it. That can make some sense to me. But then there is that theory that Paul was shot first and Maggie was running to Paul. So then it's like, the thing about it is they just haven't proven who was even killed first. If there's one or two perpetrators, like, just not enough. There's too many questions lingering. Yeah, I think the boat case started the downfall. He was angry with Paul. Paul was never convicted of the boat case. It would not have been as bad for Alec if Paul was gone. Hey, DeCory. Paul was first shot. This is what I'm wondering. I've played around with this idea. Yeah, he's still going to go to prison for the financial crimes more than likely. I mean, if he can get away, if he can be found not guilty for murder and then somehow get out of all those financial crimes, goodness gracious. So, I mean, he's still going to go to prison more than likely for the financial crimes. But this is what I played around with. So they have the hanger there. And Paul's friend said that Paul told him that his dad was running drugs in and out of Moselle. That planes would land there, and that his dad was running drugs. So I'm wondering if, Paul was running his mouth to too many people, Alec screwed the wrong drug person over, owed him money. Because here's the thing. I mean, can addicts really sell drugs? Because they're trying to do them themselves. You know what I'm saying? So if he was trying to be a drug runner, but yet he's doing the drugs himself, so he's owing money to whoever he's getting the drugs from. Maybe something like that happened and he owed the wrong person money, and maybe it got back to these people that Paul was running his mouth about it. I don't know. Or maybe it was like, you owe us money and we're about to send a message to you. And maybe Alec knows who did it, but can't rat on them because they would kill him. Or maybe it was like sent as a warning to Alec and was like, if you don't pay up, or if you rat on us, Buster will be next. I don't know. I could even go with something more towards that. Because I just can't get anything. Like, to kill your son and your wife, blow your son's brains out. Yeah. Tinsley was taking Alec to trial for transparency of his finances on June 10th. Plus, on the morning of June 7th, he was confronted by his law firm about his embezzlement. Yeah. Oh, wow, Southern Charmer. Tinsley came into my store the other day and I fangirled. Drug addiction is suspect to me. He owed money, and if someone decided to kill his family, that's the way to get revenge and also set up Alec. No, they never found the gun. Have I heard the prison calls? Which one? I have heard some of them. I don't know if I've heard all of them, but I've heard some of them. Plus, he was negative 377,000 in the bank. Food for thought. Yeah, I'm not sure if he did it, but I think he knows who did. Right. He knows who did, and either he had them do it or they did it to send him a warning to him. On Netflix. I haven't watched anything on Netflix yet. I just haven't had the time. I'm going to try to watch that soon. Yeah, I would be. I can't even fathom. I mean, they speak in code. There's talk his family helps fund a local gang. Oh, wow. Thank you, Mariska. Because I'm like, man, I've got mad at my children before. You know what I'm saying? But mad enough to kill them? No, they beat you up and make sure you pay up. He could have stolen more money. All apology says, I don't know what I would do. I don't want to know, honestly. I think I would be in such shock. Yes. My boss's husband works with Anthony and says he's such a good guy. So Southern Charmer is from that area. She's a moderator in my chat and she's from that area. See, that's what I'm thinking, probably, that Maggie was killed first and they didn't know that Paul was down there, maybe. So then they had to kill Paul. Thank you, Megan. She's my twin. I love her so much. That's true. That's true. I'm not going to say your name. Meow, cat. We can't think like him. Greedy and never told no. That is true. Oh my goodness, wasn't it so sad to see Maggie's bike still there, Buster's potted plant there? How was he at the kennels with Paul and Maggie just moments before and didn't hear the gunshots? I mean, I'm even willing to think that maybe he saw it happen. Maybe somebody was hiding, jumped out, threatened him. Maggie takes off running. Maybe like if it's like a drug related situation. Like maybe they showed up at the property to confront him because he owed them money. Maggie's there and they get into a argument. Bam, bam, kills Maggie and Paul. And he sees it, and they send him a warning. And then he's got to figure out what to do. Like, oh my God. And he's like, I got to carry on about my day. And I came back to this. So he leaves to go see his mom, which would maybe explain why he's driving 80 miles per hour on the way there and back. I don't know. The state has not proven anything to make me think guilty. There's just too many questions. Yeah, Maya says this was a setup by the defense, make everything look like a happy family lived there. Because I'm like, the potted plant was still there? Somebody probably went out there and put that potted plant there in that bicycle. Dogs would have been barking since they wouldn't have known the intruder. The defense proved with the coroner's testimony that the time he was there, based on the time of Paul and Maggie's death, could not be pinpointed. Yeah, that was something else too. Is the coroner was like, really, there's no way for us to pinpoint what time these murders took place, because he said, like me, I'm up on the stand right now, so my body temperature is gonna be higher than normal. So like if you're, I don't, you just and your temperature is like 98.6 degrees normally, but if you're outside and you're working and it's going to be a little bit hotter, that could just change the time very easily. Megan, my skincare regimen, I actually do videos on Facebook in the mornings where I do my makeup on my Facebook. The link is in the description box below. It's, let me, and my skincare, I had to stop using all the products that I use and slowly implement new products because I started having an allergic reaction to something. I didn't know what it was. So I have a mild wash, and then what's that? CeraVe. I don't remember what it's called. I use that as a moisturizer. Use that as a wash right now. But if you follow me over on Facebook, and I'll show you my Facebook, I go live on Facebook as often as I can in the mornings when I'm getting ready. I probably will not be able to do it tomorrow because I will have my daughter and my husband will be at work. But I usually post on my community tab beforehand. I will post and say, hey guys, going live over on the Facebook to do my makeup and get ready. So what I do, it's Elle Bee. This is that right there. What I do though is I'll do my makeup on Facebook and we'll have discussions. Like at one point we were talking about like the Murdoch murders. At another point we were talking about Vaughn McCrae, Quentin Simon. Like we just talk about whatever people bring up. It can get pretty personal there sometimes. I'm a pretty personal person. If I got something going on in my life that day, I'll talk about it. So this is the account that you can follow if you're interested in doing get readies with me's in the morning. I do that. I go live, and the previous ones are still on there, and I post like lives. Like I posted this live right before I did it on the Bash Chat. That's over on the Bash Chat. The video that I did earlier today on my post on there. So this is a good way that you can keep up with the content that I'm going to do. And my lives are still on there from when I do the Get Ready With Me. So, somewhere. So go follow me over on Facebook, you guys. There I am the other morning. Going to get ready with me. And we were talking about Madeline McCann. Because there was a girl come out to say that she's Madeline McCann. So there I am, wild hair, no makeup, and about to do my makeup. So there, sorry. I completely understand living my best life. This content is definitely not for everybody because, when I first switched over to true crime, after like a week or two, I was like stressed out and like emotionally stressed out from talking about like murder and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Linda M in the chat says, I can't decide either. He has lied and been on drugs for a long time. His ship was sinking. Yeah. anyways, you guys, I thought that was interesting to actually be able to see what Moselle looks like now, you know, compared to then. And the fact that I do wonder, though, I do wonder if this was like planned. Did Buster run over there 2 days ago and plant the bicycle and plant Buster's potted plant? Or was all those things left there? Like, I'm curious. Because those would be things that I would have took with me. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that those things were just left there definitely makes me wonder. To me, hearing gunshots, that is so true. I live in Blue Bayou, Louisiana. I hear them daily. It's not something I'm aware or alarmed of. That's true too. Mariska, you should do makeup professionally for people, but you got enough jobs already. That is true. How many properties did they have? So they had a house in Hampton that they sold, and then they had the Moselle, and then they had the Edisto place, the beach house, I think. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this one. I have literally been uploading a video over to the Bass Chat for like 6 hours today, and I have another one that I need to upload. So I'm going to work on that. Also, you guys, I worked on, someone asked me to make this, so I did. Megan, where do you live? I'll do your makeup. My makeup's not, it's very mild. Like, my makeup is not, bam. It's very mild. Like, it's not, glam, very. I've done, like, my daughter's makeup for dances, and like I've done my niece's makeup for a dance. But yeah, Florida. Oh, okay. All right, so I made these shirts and stuff, and someone asked me to make them, so I did, and I might make more. It just depends. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Don't trust your soul to know backwoods Southern lawyer, Reba, and then it's got Alex Murdaugh on it. My moderator, Candy, saw this and was like, you should so make this. And I was like, I can. So I did. There's a hoodie. And the link will be in the description box below. I'll put a link to go directly to the site because for some reason, my storefront does not go to this store for some reason. I don't know. When I made my storefront all those years ago, I somehow got it confused and made multiple. So I'm going to show you guys a few of what I made, and then we'll go ahead and call this one. Let's see. If you want to grab one, like I said, I will put the link in the comment section. I'll pin it to the comment section, and I'll put it in the description box below. You can get you some little stickers, just little stickers right there. I made some little stickers. There's the hoodie. There's the t-shirt down here. T-shirt. Coffee mug. I know, right? Reba knew years ago. Reba knew. She knew. So there's all the, right now it's only like white shirts and stuff, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, sweaters. I might get me one just because I think it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I will put the link to that in the description box below, as well as in the comment section. I'll pin it to the comment section if you guys are interested. But yeah, you guys let me your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Do you guys believe that someone went and set the property up, putting Maggie's bike out, putting Buster's potted plant out? Or do you guys think that those things were really left there? Also, if you're watching on replay, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you guys think that the prosecution has proved this case beyond a reasonable doubt to say, absolutely, Alec did it, and feel that it's proven? You guys leave me your thoughts. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because I would love to have you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.